Trepidation, fear, doubt. These are the specters that hover in the hearts of platforming players, the arbiters of their own destruction. And these are the exact elements that compose Donkey Kong Country's most infamous, second most infamous stage, Snow Barrel Blast. The longest pure platforming level in the game, Gorilla Glacier's first challenge is a brutal beatdown of nerves, making sure that players spend every second valuing every inch they gain toward the exit, and dread making that next step. Desperate to finally end their torment, but knowing each one could only prolong it. It is a cruel tormentor, but it's not an unforgiving one, foregoing torturing players with cheap deaths to instead prey on them psychologically until their souls are crushed. You beat Snow Barrel Blast, or truly, the level beats you. Let's dive in. SBB starts imposingly enough, with a low hum resonating through the mountain as a Neki slowly swoops in to greet you. Waiting for the Neki to cross the screen and jumping off its noggin, greets the Kongs with a bonus room where they can easily nab a Winky token. As this bonus room reappears with each life lost, and it's almost trivial to get at least 3 lives in Winky's bonus, as long as the player isn't reaching the halfway point and continuing from there, it is very easy to keep your lives from cratering out, if not actually gaining more than you lose in the process. But this Winky challenge sets a precedent that will follow the entire level. You're gonna be taking things slowly. Real slowly. The ground is coated in ice, causing DK and Diddy to slip around like crazy, necessitating the player to constantly leap around and correct their position, not willing to charge ahead and slip and slide right into a claptrap. Barrel cannons require the player to wait for zingers to pass before they can shoot out, sometimes needing to wait for the cannon itself to adjust to the right angle. And as quick as these individual obstacles are, there's so many that eventually, it adds up. Adjusting so constantly is an arduous process that makes every individual obstacle feel like a bigger deal than it actually is. The skies behind DK and Diddy slowly darkening, snow beginning to obscure their vision as they're sunk into the thick of it. Until eventually, the player gets launched right into the heart of the storm, the surrounding mountains swept up in the incoming blizzard, and they realize after all this time, they're only halfway there. And now, the real level begins. After a simple test of your reflexes at this snowbank, the stage throws a kettle of Nekis at players with very little room to jump around. And considering how nasty these birdies' beaks can be when it comes to representing hitboxes, it's more than likely DK or Diddy's getting their eyes pecked out here at least a couple of times. After blasting past a potential bonus, the player reaches 2 zingers guarding a Rambi token, and a choice. They can take the token, potentially losing DK or Diddy to a rapidly spinning barrel in the process, or they can ignore it and lose their infinite safety net of lives. While getting 3 lives in the Rambi bonus is pretty easy, it takes a while and brings players back to the halfway barrel on completion. So this is quite the time investment to consistently go for, especially considering what's right after. The rest of the stage consists of one simple obstacle, a gauntlet of barrel cannons. The player will have to make 18 shots in a row, only able to get hit by zingers once in order to make it out of the snowstorm. And this is the hell the stage is known for. A constant test of focus and timing with as little room for error as the game can offer. Zingers of different colors dance about the barrels, both bobbing up and down between and circling around the cannons, sometimes perfectly orbiting around to the point where it feels impossible to get past. Please let me leave. I want to play anything else now. And then, after making 9 successful shots, oh god, the barrel is moving and spinning at the same time. And there's the bees again! Snow Barrel Blast takes a macabre pleasure in taking away the player's timing windows, sometimes making them go several seconds before an opportunity arises to actually make progress. And that time waiting, those ticking seconds, are what add up beyond all else. Every single shot the player takes is measured, carefully considering after focusing and adjusting to the timing of a new barrel, simultaneously psyching themselves up to push the button and psyching themselves out from committing. You're safe as long as you stay inside your little barrel home, after all. There's no enemy to come out of nowhere or unknown pattern. Here, you are the only arbiter of your own failure. And the further you get, the more you know that one wrong move, and you're not just back to the start again. You gotta do the necky shuffle and decide if you want to waste time with Ramby. Snow Barrel Blast devours your time and nerves like nothing else, making every single mistake feel like a crushing failure and drawing out the tension of simply pushing a button to its absolute fullest. After the cannon gauntlet, the stage is basically over. There's one more zinger on some slippery platforms that would be a shame to lose your run to, but isn't all that threatening. And one more claptrap because it's DKC1, there's always a cheeky enemy right at the end. That's all there is to it. Snow Barrel Blast is ultimately just one set piece where you press the jump button 18 times and then you win. But everything is built to make those button presses the most agonizing section it can possibly be. The slow buildup of lives, the slippery movement getting there, the possibility of maintaining your lives versus trying to just get back in there and blast some snow barrels. The fact that the O of the Kong letters is in a bonus stage to screw with your sense of progression, the sheer length of the level compared to others, everything works together to make every action feel as nerve-wracking as possible and tear down the player's psyche until they desperately need a break. Oh, and you don't get a save point until you beat the next 3 levels after this. So imagine how desperate a player's going to be to stay alive in those levels so they don't have to deal with this one again. It is a cruel stage that no matter who you are or where you're from, tears you down and makes you dread ever having to go through it again. Until, you figure out that you can just skip the last snow barrel section by shooting down on the 3rd cannon. That'll fix it.